You believe there needs to be a new oil pipeline that would go from Alberta to the coast of BC, likely improve.
Danielle Smith is done waiting. Alberta's premier isn't looking for Ottawa's blessing or BC's permission slips anymore. She's going straight to British Columbians with a bold new pitch, a true nation-building energy core around a brand new pipeline running from Alberta's oil fields straight to BC's northwest coast, most likely to Prince Rupert or Kitimat. This is not politics as usual. No spin, no fluff. This is about energy, economic growth, and Canadian sovereignty.
6 months ago, that everybody now understands how dangerous it is to rely on a single.
Here's the hard truth. Alberta already produces over 1 million barrels of oil every single day, generating a staggering $20 billion in annual revenue. And this isn't just Alberta's win. That cash floods federal coffers, funding government programs and transfers to every province, including those that love to block Alberta's pipelines while still enjoying the benefits. So why the resistance? Why should Alberta keep footing the bill while being told to stay in its lane? Smith's vision goes beyond laying another pipe in the ground. She's proposing a full-blown economic corridor, expanded rail networks, new LNG lines, propane transportation, and more. The plan would turn northern BC into Canada's gateway to Asia, opening new, secure routes to global markets at a time when depending on one or two trading partners just isn't smart. And this isn't being done the old way. Indigenous communities are not being sidelined, they're being brought in from day one, not just as stakeholders, but as true equity partners. The message is clear. This is real economic reconciliation, not token gestures or empty promises. The kind of partnership Ottawa likes to talk about but rarely delivers. Smith is telling BC and the rest of Canada, the world has changed. Global trade dynamics are shifting. It's time Canada got serious about securing and diversifying access to international markets. Alberta is no longer asking politely. If Alberta powers your economy, fuels your cars, and heats your homes, then don't be surprised when Alberta starts demanding a fair deal in return. And if BC isn't ready to get on board, no problem, there's a plan B. Enter Churchill, Manitoba. Premier Wab Kinew is making bold moves of his own, recently approving Manitoba's first gold mine in 15 years, while promoting Churchill as Canada's Arctic energy gateway. The port of Churchill has one key advantage. It's free from BC's coastal tanker bans and federal interference. With the right investment, think icebreakers and upgraded infrastructure, Churchill could offer Alberta a direct export route to Europe, bypassing Pacific bottlenecks and unreliable trade partners entirely. And it's not just about oil. This strategy opens the door to a broader interprovincial energy alliance, one built on shared interests, economic strength, and a vision for Canada that moves beyond old regional grudges. The world is hungry for secure, ethical energy, and Alberta is ready to deliver. But it won't wait forever for Ottawa and BC to catch up. The message couldn't be clearer. It's time for Canada to grow up. Alberta has the resources, the know-how, and the market demand. Now it's moving forward. The rest of the country likes it or not. While Ottawa chases net zero fantasies and ties the private sector in regulatory knots, the provinces are stepping up with real solutions. Saskatchewan's nuclear power, Manitoba's hydro, and British Columbia's grid potential could form a powerful, clean energy alliance, one driven by results, not rhetoric. But don't expect federal support. Ottawa is too busy issuing press releases and forcing private projects through endless layers of climate compliance, equity audits, and political virtue signaling. Take Bill C-69. For example, dubbed the No More Pipelines Ever Act for good reason. This legislation demands so many overlapping consultations, intersectional reviews, and bureaucratic hoops, it's a miracle anything gets built at all. And while we're buried in paperwork, Canada still imports oil from authoritarian regimes, like Venezuela and Saudi Arabia, crude that's dirtier and riskier than Alberta's. All because it fits into some twisted version of climate optics. Let's be honest, Alberta's energy is not only cleaner than what we import, it's getting cleaner every year. Canada's largest oil sands players, through the Pathways Alliance, are investing billions into cutting-edge technologies like carbon capture, hydrogen, co-firing, and even direct air capture. Their goal, net zero by 2050. These aren't PR gimmicks, these are real investments in sustainable, long-term solutions. And they're doing it with or without Ottawa. If the federal government won't help, Alberta will go it alone, and smarter. That means leveraging public-private partnerships, creating loan guarantees to de-risk large-scale infrastructure, and giving Indigenous communities a real equity stake in development. The Alberta Indigenous Opportunities Corporation has already delivered over $750 million in deals, helping First Nations move from the sidelines to the decision-making table. This isn't just inclusion, it's smart economics. Smith's plan is to scale that model to the next level, building Indigenous-backed pipelines and energy corridors that actually get shovels in the ground. Because let's face it, if the private sector no longer trusts the federal government to manage major projects without ballooning costs or delays, that's a policy failure. Just look at the Trans Mountain expansion. Originally a $4.7 billion project, it's now tipped over $35 billion under Ottawa's mismanagement. No private company wants to be the next casualty of federal indecision and regulatory gridlock. Meanwhile, the facts on the ground tell a different story from Ottawa's talking points. Alberta's pipelines, natural gas, and rail infrastructure are already flowing into BC every single day. CN and CP Rail carry oil, gas, and goods west. And it's not a one-way street. BC exports over 5 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day through Alberta to US markets. That's right, our economies are already deeply integrated. You can't block Alberta's exports and still demand the deliveries. It doesn't work that way. Enter Prince Rupert, currently handling 30 million tons of cargo annually. Danielle Smith's vision: scale that up to 100 million tons. Make oil and gas the anchor tenants that fund high-volume exports, port upgrades, and private sector investment. It's a logical step turn northern BC into Canada's energy and trade gateway to Asia, and yet industry players hesitate. Who can blame them after what happened with TMX? The risk is real, and Ottawa has shown it can't manage national infrastructure without driving away private capital. That's why Alberta isn't waiting around. The province is building its own path forward, with or without federal approval. It's not radical, it's practical. It's based on reality, not ideology. Smith's plan includes new rail capacity, propane corridors, LNG pipelines, and long-term investment into carbon reduction tech. Indigenous ownership is central, not symbolic, and the end goal is simple: connect Alberta's responsibly developed energy to global markets in a way that's secure, efficient, and future-proof. If BC hesitates, there's always Churchill. Premier Wab Kinew is already welcoming energy exports and greenlighting new development. Churchill offers Arctic access free from coastal tanker bans and federal overreach. With the right investment, icebreakers, port upgrades, secure rail lines, it could become Alberta's direct link to Europe, sidestepping the bottlenecks entirely. This is the conversation Canada needs to have. It's not just about one pipe, about whether we're a country that builds or a country that blocks. If the most productive, innovative province in the Federation is punished for trying to lead, then yes, Alberta will start asking serious questions about its future in this federation. If you believe in Canada's energy future, one that's clean, competitive, and actually gets built, then hit subscribe, because this pipeline